Switch Radio Breakfast Friday morning. Yes, Super Switch is back. Slightly different this week because it is an international break, and with the best will in the world, I cannot be arsed. And you can bleep that off the radio if you want, or do whatever you want with it. It's just the way I feel about it. It is the most irritating thing in the world of football, and we have to suffer every 5 weeks or so in the autumn. And this is just one of those times. England played Wales last night. Don't care. Do not care. And they're playing Latvia on Tuesday, so that's like way too far ahead to be able to make a prediction. But I would like to say at this point, good luck to Walsall and Solihull Moors for their games this weekend. Solihull Moors are in FA Cup action, in fact. So, back to predictions next week. So what we thought we'd do is a bit of a half-term report. I mean, it's not half-term for a good couple of weeks in the real world, but in our world, we've reached a point where we've played enough games, we've seen enough of our teams, and we can make an honest assessment. Kim Smith is not with us this morning, but she sent us a voice note about her half-term report for Birmingham City, so we'll get to that in just a moment. She's top of the actual league table when we do this. Rob Richards is in second place. Morning, Rob.
Good morning. Yes, hello. Not the best of weeks, points-wise, but we'll move on.
I thought you were going to be about to tell us something deep and disturbing about something that's happened to you.
Oh, I've got plenty of that.
Oh, have you? Okay. Well, save that for your Instagram, I think. Save it for the content. And Jonathan Wimbush is bottom of the table. I'm third, but no, we're joint third, aren't we now? We're joint third. Or joint bottom, whichever way you want to. Yeah. Glass empty, glass half full. You are, at the moment, and people can see this on YouTube, decorating a room. So you're a bit echoey because all the furniture's been taken out. Whose room are you decorating and why?
Yes, well, there's no football assignments this weekend because of international break. So my parents have roped me into painting their bedroom. So, bit of mint green going on.
Mint green. I was going to ask about the colour. Yeah. Obviously the camera shows up different shades, but I was going to go turquoise, but or a kind of an oceana, but mint green. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it says on the can Miami Mint, so make of that.
That might mean something else to somebody. That might be slang. Quite frankly, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, okay. Best of luck with that. I mean, it comes to something, isn't it? When the one thing I hate more than international breaks is DIY. So this is my idea of hell right now. I'll be quite honest with you. But yeah, let's have a look at how we're all getting along then in terms of our teams this season. And Rob, we'll start with Villa because the Premier League, and obviously the Premier League's best in the world. We just started getting a good thing going. Now we got to stop for the internationals.
Yeah, it's always the way, isn't it? You start building a bit of momentum up, and start the season. And I mean, yeah, boy, Villa really needed to build something. 4 wins on the bounce after a really troubling start. I think you've got to put it down to the absolute shambles of a transfer window, the summer transfer window, and I think it comes to something when pretty much the man and his job is pretty much presiding over the transfer window and transfers in and out. Monchi has left the club, so I think that kind of writing, the proof's in the pudding, the writing's on the wall, whatever you want to say. I think that tells you a lot that the man's job has gone because of how poor that transfer window was in terms of how it destabilised the club and the players. It wasn't particularly awful. We didn't lose big key players as such, but it was, and every one of our players, or at least the starting 11, nearly every one of them had some kind of transfer rumour. There were uncertainty about if they would have to be sold for PSR purposes. Nobody had any sort of, a stable introduction into the Premier League, and it's quite that introduction into the Premier League was quite a surprise because Villa, I thought, had a fairly good pre-season.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think Villa have had worse pre-seasons and started the season better than we did. So there's quite a surprise. The Villa players, the first few games looked like they hadn't played a game as a team before, and even like there was fundamentals and basics. Like there were players going for the wrong run, or a pass would be made and two players would go to pick the ball up and run into each other. Things you would see almost like on a playground. You thought, seriously, is this a Premier League team that has been in training and preparation for the Premier League, and this is what they're like? There's something not right.
Well, come on, let's pick up the mood though, Rob, because you depressed me more
Anyway.
than John's decorating, quite frankly. So
Well, can I just say, I thought that was a green screen, by the way, behind Jonathan. I thought he was doing some sort of CGI behind him. You could do, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Ben, I'll leave you something to superimpose something behind.
We'll find something. maybe a bit of AI of Jonathan Wimbush in a wolf shirt. How about that? How about that?
Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah, but I'd say that they picked up. Daniel Marlon played really well against Burnley. Ollie Watkins has got his goal. Morgan Rogers is probably the one that you're looking at that still needs to it needs that one spark. Or I think his performances are slightly improving. But when we come back after next week, just the Premier League alone, Spurs, Liverpool, Man City, I don't know what order this is. I think it's Spurs, City, Liverpool, then Bournemouth in a row. So that win against Burnley was really important.
Well, we've had our easy run, as many people thought coming into the season, but I think this will just be Villa now if we go in and get 2 wins and a draw. Against those clubs, and you can just see that
City and Liverpool have shown that they're not.
And at the end of the day, Tottenham are still Tottenham.
Yeah, well, we'll have a certain Welshman join us next week because it'll be Villa at Spurs, and he'll try and predict his team winning 5-0. And he'll lay out forensically why he thinks that's going to happen, and what he'll do is he'll talk Villa up as much as he possibly can, and then hit us with, "I'm going to go Spurs 5, Villa 0," and he'll do it like that just for the because Villa live rent free in his head, and
as they do. As they do many people's.
For some reason. But okay. But the European stuff we can't really grumble at. I mean, that's going nicely. So
pretty much perfect. Is it two games, 2 clean sheets?
Yep.
In Europe.
Okay. Absolutely. We're going to move on to the Championship now. As I say, Kim Smith's not with us, but would anybody like to hear Kim Smith's half-term report?
Yes, please.
Absolutely, yeah.
Good. That was an unsettling pause there before you answered the question. but here we go. Kim Smith.
Morning, chaps. I'm sorry
Good morning,
I can't
Kim.
be with you this morning. I'm a bit otherwise engaged and off to the darts in Leicester on Friday evening. But I gather it's half-term report time. So just a few thoughts on Blues, as I'm sure you'll have plenty of thoughts on your own respective teams, plus Wolves, especially if Jonathan Wimbush is wearing his apron.
There we go.
However, Blues, how have they done so far? Well, I think if I was a teacher, I'd be giving them a B. They could definitely do better. But I don't think it's been anywhere near as disastrous as some of the naysayers have said. Okay, yes, we definitely need more goals and we need more attempts on goal, but hopefully that is something that is going to get worked on this international break. And also that we will hopefully be able to get 1 or 2 people back from injury. I know Ethan Laird is a long-term thing, but we're hoping to see the likes of Willemsen soon and maybe 1 or 2 others, which might help ease the pressure a little bit. But it's onwards and upwards to Hull yet and keeping Ollie McBurney under control, and it will be interesting to see how that goes at St Andrews on Saturday the 18th. But yeah, it's a B from me for Blues, which is sort of inevitable, really, isn't it?
Well,
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
See you soon, chap.
Thank you, Kim. The beeping in the background, I assume Kim wasn't hooked up to a chest monitor or something in hospital. I don't know if anybody was hearing that. I agree with everything that Kim says there, except for the actual grade. I think it's a C, and I probably think it's a C minus. I think it's very average as far as Blues are concerned. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's about consolidation. You don't want to do an Ipswich. The quicker you go up, the quicker you come back down. So I don't think that's where we are. And so we do have to move on because we're doing this all in one go, not in parts on the radio. West Bromwich Albion. Now, we were saying a little bit earlier about the frustration about the international break is that it breaks the momentum for our team because we'd won 4 on the bounce. It's equally frustrating if you've gone into an international break, John, on the back of a shocking performance at Millwall because you've got to stew on it for a fortnight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we'd done this in the first international break, I'd have said that we were flying, we were undefeated in the Championship, and then September happened and we lost to Derby, we lost to Middlesbrough, and it was an impressive draw against Leicester, but we really should have won that. It took like the last minute or so for Leicester to equalise, and it was an own goal at that. We did beat Norwich, and then Millwall happened, and the less said about that, the better. But I suppose I've got to talk about it. Compare the performance from Norwich to the performance from Millwall, and they were 2 completely different performances from West Bromwich Albion. And I honestly don't know how, because there was like 4 days in between the 2 games. I don't know how a team could perform so differently in such a short amount of time, but we did. And Millwall, they deserved the 3 points, and we didn't.
Well, that's interesting because I heard West Brom fans say at the weekend that the performance at Norwich was exactly or very similar to the one at Millwall. It's just they won that game compared to losing it. So I don't know. There's one thing I forgot to do. If Kim's at the darts. There we go. It's got to be done. So if you were giving him a grade, what would you do? What would you give him?
I'd give him a B, to be honest, because honestly, August was great, but September, October has been less than brilliant. So we've only had 1 win in the last 5, and that's just not good enough.
Absolutely. And Rob, we didn't say with Villa. What would you give Villa?
I'd give them a C.
C. Yeah, I think that's about right. So yeah, those are our thoughts at this stage of the international break. There's another international break to come before we get to Christmas. So there we are. But we're back to normal next week. So yeah, Villa at Spurs, as Kim mentioned, Blues at home against Hull City. What are West Brom doing, John, on the return?
West Brom are at home to Preston.
Home to Preston, okay. So those are the games, as well as Solihull Moors as well, that we're going to be featuring when Super Switch returns to normal next week. For Kim Smith on the WhatsApp, for Rob Richards, Jonathan Wimbush, I'm Ben Ellis. We'll see you next week.